Hey guys! I'm gonna wait a couple minutes and let people get on here. I'm gonna go shut the door to the office. Okay. So I'm doing this from the law firm page, so I might not get many people on here. It might not show me, but let me. When you get to this video, if you hit the like or the heart button or comment on here to let me know that you can see the video, then what happens is it like boosts it for other people to see it, so they all will get a notification that I'm on. Got a couple questions to answer, so that's kind of exciting. I'm trying to just wait and see. I'm going to post on my personal page to let people know that I'm over here on this page. So, how is everybody's day? What are you guys doing tonight? Are you guys going out tonight? It's like the biggest bar night of the year. I remember that from the bartending times. I never really got to celebrate, so I was always working, and now I don't miss it. Now I'm like, I will stay away from all those crowds and all of those people before I didn't used to mind it, but now I do. So, anyways. Yeah, Rivka, trying to work. I worked all day. I built like this really cool link on my Kajabi site, and I still have like the free trial, so I'm trying to see if that will like do anything good for me or not. But yeah. So one thing that I just learned today is a change in the advertising for realtors and brokers, which I'm not practicing with my real estate license right now, so I haven't been following that kind of stuff. So when I got this letter, this little message in my Facebook, I was like, it's weird. So the new rule is that you have to have your name, like your name as a realtor, has to be the same size in font and print as your broker's name, which is huge because real estate agents go by their personality. Like, that's how people choose you. It's just like who you know and who you are as a person. They hire you for yourself and not typically because you work for like AB brokerage. So for a lot of people are going to have to revamp their entire collection of signage, business cards, websites, Facebook posts, like anything that they're advertising themselves on. They have to make sure that their name is the same size as the broker's name, which is going to be huge. Like, I have friends that just started brokerages. I helped a couple people start their LLCs and stuff for that, and it was like, I'm just imagining, like how much money they have to spend to get all new signs, all new business cards. Like, that stuff's not cheap. So hopefully, I don't know. I don't even know what to think about it. I gotta look into it more before I can like have an opinion on what the whether that's like, I mean, constitutionally, I just feel like it puts a limit on people. It's limiting their ability to grow their business. It's definitely causing damages because they have to, I mean, I'm glad that I wasn't like investing in my business this whole time, because I would have to redo everything. It's crazy. So if you're a realtor, make sure you look into that, because as of January 1st, your signs, all of your advertising, anything that you're doing is going to have to be redone. So it's pretty crazy. So then I had another question about small claims court. And I get a lot of those. A lot of people send me private messages or want to call and talk to me about how to file in small claims. And so I've got these are all papers I pick up when I go to court. The courthouse always has like these kiosks with all of these like printed information packets on them. And you can just grab them. Like, they're free. Most of the courthouses have some type of information for people that are representing themselves. So if you're ever in court and you have a question or anything, these little information packets are usually pretty amazing. I think I got these ones from Ottawa County. But there was a small claims one. Here it is. So, for small claims court, if you have, basically small claims court is any time that someone has like broken a deal with you, or like, I would imagine, like on Facebook, we have a lot of those Facebook yard sale sites, and if you end up buying like a car from them, or like a piece of furniture, something that just doesn't, you get it and it's like broken or whatever, or like when people, they show up and it's like the wrong thing, or else if you hire like a roofer and they come and they do a bad job, or they don't do the job at all, that kind of stuff. So it's to recover money, perform a contract, set aside a contract, or like change the contract. So like basically just anything with money is for small claims. So the filing fees are like on a step basis, and the limit is up to $5,500. But I think this is out of date because I thought it was $6,500. But anyway, so the filing fee is $70 for the highest amount, and then you aren't allowed to bring an attorney to the small claims court. So that can be nice, because then it's just you and the other person, and there's no lawyers involved. And the best advice I can give you is to just be organized. Be organized and like stay to the point. So you want to put together a bullet list of, the facts, what exactly happened. You want to have your contracts in a binder with dividers so that the judge can look right at it and say, oh, I see that you have these receipts. I see that you have this list of, phone calls and what you talked about, and you've got these emails that you printed, and that's all sectioned off like that. So then, when the judge is looking at that stuff, it just makes sense. Like, you don't want to have, the judge can't have questions. Like, if the judge is questioning it, he's just, or she is just not, is not going to be happy. So if it's just clear cut, like, this is what happened, this is what I did, this is what I need. And then make sure you tell the judge exactly what you want. If you want, say, like, I wanted black shingles on my roof, and this guy came and put green ones on. I want black shingles. I want my black shingles. So you need to figure out, like, how much money is that? How much is it to have someone come out? You have to have someone come to your house, for instance, and give a quote, like, oh, it'll cost another $7,200 to put black shingles on this house, or something like that. So then, and you can limit that, like, if they said it was $7,500, but the court limit is $6,500, you can only ask for $6,500. So you want to be prepared. And they have all the forms online. They have the complaint. You can go to a website, and it's called SCAO, and it's Supreme Court Administration Office. And they have all the forms that you need there. You need your summons, your complaints. They have instructions on them. They have like the form with all the instructions listed out. It's so easy. Once you know where to find the information and you get the information, it's really like intimidating for people to go and stand in front of a judge and all of that. So, yeah. The small claims process is, they've made it simple. And then once you get your judgment, which we can kind of talk about both sides of that, because I've also gotten a lot of calls from people who are getting garnished. And especially like around the holiday season, that just sucks. Like, you get your paycheck and they can take up to 25% of your take-home pay. So, on the flip side, that's what you can do to someone else if you have a judgment. So for garnishments, if you get garnished, the first thing you want to do is file a motion for a payment plan, which hopefully you've already called and discussed it. If someone has a judgment against you, you want to make sure that you're not going to get a garnishment. They can also take your taxes too, your state income taxes, and those garnishment forms are all at the courthouse. The clerks can't give you legal advice, but if you're super nice and like just kind of explain that you don't know what you're doing, they'll help you at least find the right forms and stuff. They can't tell you like how to fill them out, but that's where I come in. So it's I don't know, it's fairly simple, but it can be complicated. So, do you have any questions? Anybody have any messages? Just those two things. Someone wanted me to talk about small claims court. I mean, I can go on about small claims court. The other thing with small claims court is if you can really like throw a wrench in it all if you hire an attorney, because then they'll file a motion to remove it to district court, which is kind of nice. Like, I've done that before, and it's kind of cool, because someone thinks they're just going to get you, and then you come in like, no, boom, guns blazing, I got a lawyer, and we're going to the big court. So that's kind of fun. But I don't like litigation. I'm a lawyer that hates conflict. And so I'm really trying to position myself in a way that I'm just kind of consulting people and coaching them through these processes and giving them advice on that. Because those are the conversations I love to have. Like brainstorming about what business type is best for you if you want to start a business, which is huge. Rivka says, what happens when parties are in different states? Jurisdiction is determined by where the incident took place, usually. Well, it can be determined by a bunch of different things. Where the incident took place, where the defendant lives, or you can contract to a specific jurisdiction, and that's what you have to watch out for, especially with like credit card companies and like those debt consolidation companies and that kind of stuff. When you look through the contract, it'll say in there like you agree you're subjecting yourself to jurisdiction of like Nevada, and so if anything ever happens, you have to file a suit in Nevada because that's what you agreed to. So there's that, and then if that's not the case, it would be where the defendant lives, and then, well, where the incident took place is the first, and then where the defendant lives, and then where the plaintiff lives is another option. And if you get a complaint and it's in the wrong jurisdiction, you can actually, if you answer that and you don't object to the jurisdiction, you're just like submitting to it, and you'll end up in that court. So, yeah. Do you have any like other questions about the jurisdiction? There's a statute on that too, that we can look up. But yeah. So like I was saying, I'm trying to position myself in a... You're welcome. I'm trying to position myself in a place where I can have these conversations with people, like about what they should do. Like, a lot of people are getting divorced, and they don't want attorneys involved. They don't want to do that. I've done a ton of these consent judgment divorces, and it's so nice. I mean, divorce sucks. It really sucks, and I wouldn't wish that situation on anybody. But if you and your spouse have decided that this is what needs to happen, and you agree on everything, bringing an attorney in can actually disrupt that. I've seen attorneys that will, one attorney, they'd agreed on everything, and this attorney came in and was just starting it. It made it a mess. It made it such a mess. And a lot of divorces can be really simple. And I love talking to people about that. Like, oh, this is what you have to do. Here's the forms you need. Here's how you file. Here's what you're going to say when you get to the judge. The coaching aspect of it is my very favorite thing. And I like going in front of the judge too, but I definitely would rather see someone else do it. No, but yeah. Divorce sucks less than a horrible marriage, but yes, you are right. A friend has an attorney making the thing a lot worse. And yeah, it's true. So that's one of my favorite things is like when, obviously I would rather like help people like get married, I guess. I don't know, like not matchmaking, but yeah, the helping people get through that process and just fostering it to be a healthy situation is so important, because once you enter the conflict stage and you start like pushing those buttons, then you're affecting not just those people, but you're affecting the children, you're affecting their grandparents, you're affecting, you know, the aunts and uncles, like the whole family dynamic is disrupted. And so if there's something that I can do for those people to make them happy and like to show them that they can be fair to each other and they don't have to move from a place of anger. Like divorce doesn't have to be a bad thing. It can be a great thing. Like I see some people, like, I mean, to my brother, he and his ex, they co-parent beautifully, and I think that honestly our family dynamic is healthier because of that. Like it's just, I don't know, it doesn't have to be bad. And that's something else. I mean, we got about 10 minutes left. We could talk about, like, parenting time during the holidays, because that gets really rough. And, you know, my best advice for that is to, you know, obviously, like, don't use the kids as a way to get back at your spouse. And just try to step outside of that, because I know it must be painful. I can't imagine, like, waking up on Christmas and having Natalie not with me. Like, I can't imagine how much that must hurt and how hard that is for someone. But if that's the court document, like you've got to follow the court document, and if parenting time is for the other person on the holidays, there's really nothing you can do about that. However, there is a way that you can make that better, like over Christmas break, instead of, you can always agree to things outside of the document. You don't have to go directly by that. So if you have a parent who is home for winter break and your kids are not going to be in school, there's no reason why you shouldn't say, like, hey, take the kids. They'll be in daycare all day, or they can spend time with their mom. Like, those kind of things are such a big deal. The thing you should not do is break that order. If you there's ways around that. Like, if you have an emergency situation, or if you go to pick up the kids, or like the other spouse comes to get your kids and they've been drinking, you can't just like you can, like in that situation, you should definitely not send your kids with a drunk person, but you have to immediately figure out like how to contact the court, how to file a motion, how to make sure that you're documenting the situation so that you don't get slammed with a contempt order. You can actually go to jail, like, if you're breaching that, and it has to be kind of a big deal. Like, it's not, you can't just say, oh, we decided, you know, like, I don't know. Anyways. So yeah, parenting time during the holidays can cause, when I was clerking with a judge in the family court, holiday parenting time got tough. A lot of people started fights about that. So, what else? Oh, businesses. That was what I love. Like, I love when people want to go out and start their own business. And there are so many opportunities now, especially with the internet and everything. And that is definitely something that I would love to help people with. Setting up LLCs or nonprofits, corporations, S-corps, like all of that stuff. It's really fairly simple, and you don't have to pay an attorney like $1,200 to do it. You can be, like, that's a situation where I can actually coach someone through it, and then we can also talk about, like, every other business thing in the whole entire world, because I just love learning about business and personal development and all of that. So, I mean, you can start, like, and it's going to be different. Like, you might not need an LLC for some businesses. You might not need service contracts. You might need, you know, your invoices might have to have, like, special clauses on them. There's so many different ways to operate a business, and I just love helping people like get through those, because that's where it's important. Like, it's so important for you to have your legal issues like all lined up very clearly, because if something happens in your business, that's your livelihood. And let me tell you, once you start a business, you do not want to go back to a job. I promise you that the self-employment bug, like, it bites you and then you're done. Like, you want to, like, today I woke up at about 7, and Natalie was home with me, and so I spent some time, like, hanging out with her and stuff, but I kind of made her watch a movie. Excuse me. I made her watch a movie, and I was working on my business. Like, that's all I wanted to do. Where when I had a job, all I wanted to do was come home and be with Natalie and work on my business. So, yeah. If you, like I was saying, if you don't have your contracts in order, if you don't have your service agreements, if you don't have all of your, like, ethical obligations lined out, you need to have, like, your processes, and if you're going to hire employees, all of those things. Because if something comes up and it's been done wrong and you end up, like, failing at your business because of it, it's going to really suck. Sorry. Do you guys drink LaCroix? I love LaCroix. I have this horrible pop addiction. And this is, like, the most delicious fizzy water, like, once you get used to it. So, sorry. Yeah, so, I'm trying to think about, like, I guess you guys are not asking great questions. But, yeah, so I got this idea to do this live show, and this is the first one. And I called it The Other Side of the Bar, because I used to be a bartender, and all I wanted, like, in my whole life, all I wanted when I was at this sticky, smoky, stinky bars, was to be able to work in a clean environment, and be on the other side of the bar. But then the pun is that I'm in the bar association, and, being licensed as an attorney through the bar is, like, there's those people I feel like there's one side of the bar where, they wear suits and they practice, like, law by technicalities and by, those little details, and they make divorces worse, that kind of stuff. But then on the other side of the bar, there's people like me, and a lot of my friends who practice law in flannel shirts and have Christmas lights in their office, and, like, huff essential oils all day long and just do that kind of stuff. So that's what I mean, like, the other side of the bar, because I want to help people. I really do. I don't want them to... A lot of people are unable to access the help of an attorney because it's too expensive, or it's too hard. Like, they have to make that phone call between 9 and 5, or they have to go to the office in person. And so I created my law firm to be open for people. And financially, it's easy to work with me. You can book my appointments online. We can do everything via video and telephone calls. It's all paperless. Like, every document I send out to you is through email. So, I mean, it keeps my costs way down. I work out of my home, so my office doesn't cost me anything. I don't have any overhead for that. So that kind of stuff that I do is how, I get over that, charging people $250 an hour. For me, it's like, it's an ego thing now. It's like, I made that much an hour, but I don't have to, like, and if I'm not representing people in court, and if I'm not providing those kinds of, like, high stress, intense kind of services that they make me feel like crap, then I'm not going to charge people that kind of money. So, I set up, like, on my website, right now I'm running for $27, you can have a half-hour consultation with me, and we'll go over all your legal issues, and then I'll make you, like, a checklist or I'll research the statutes and print those off for you, and I'll make, some kind of plan, an action plan for you that's step by step and laid out. Like, here's what you need to do. Here's what's going on. This is what, you got this letter in the mail. I'll tell you what it means, and I'll tell you what you have to do with it next. And that special is running through for Black Friday. So for $27, you can do that. And then I made it $79 for the rest. But, I mean, the real value in that is you get total clarity. It's like, you're not going to find that kind of information on Google. You're not going to find it in, one of those books that they publish online. You're not going to find it, on Facebook. And it's not even really something that I can do, like, through a Facebook message or, just, like, helping people. It's like I will print it out. Or not print it, but I'll give you a PDF of your action plan. So, like, if you say you got a complaint for a lawsuit and you're like, what do I do? And I'm going to be like, okay, the first thing you have to do is, figure out what's the issue. Why are they suing you? Once we figure that out, I'll give you the elements of law that they need. I'll give you the statutes that might apply. I'll give you some case law that might be helpful. I'll give you, your next steps. Like, okay, you got this complaint. You have to file an answer before, whatever the next date is. We'll write that date down. That's when you have to file the answer. The parts of your answer have to be, you have to have these 7 specific things in your answer. I'll send you that. I'll email you a copy of the affirmative defenses. All that stuff, like all of these, so you can, like, lawyer yourself. Because it's not that hard. It's really not. Like, basically lawyers just know how to find information, and I really think a lot of them know how to keep it to themselves and hide it from people because that's how they make money. And if you're not, like me, if you're not interested in the money and the power and just the crazy lawyerness, then it's so cool to be able to do this for people and give them what they need. So, yeah, and like starting a business, if you want, you can go to my website, you can set up your appointment, you can say, hey, Melinda, I want to start a business, and I'll be like, okay, so what kind of business do you want to start? You want to start a building, you want to start a kitchen remodeling business, you want to be a construction person. So I'm going to be like, okay, well, you need to have your builder's license. Like, here's the steps you have to take to get your builder's license. You have to have your LLC set up. You have to have insurance. Like, here's some insurance companies that I work with that I, these agents that I know that I like. You have to, for your LLC, like, here's the website you have to go to. Here's the form you have to fill out. Here's where you have to send it. Here's how much the filing fee is. All these things. I can absolutely give you all that information within a half hour and just email you the form. And so then, it's like I'm empowering people to do things for themselves, and I'm helping them grow, and I'm helping them learn a new skill, and like, it's easier for me, it's less stressful, and it's taking, like, what's my favorite part of practicing law, and that's it, it's those discussions, like, if you want to evict a tenant, like, well, okay, so what are you going to evict them for? Is it non-payment? Is it breach of lease? Are they doing drugs on your property? And then once you get into that, it's like, okay, so you need this notice, you need this complaint, you need to show the judge, like, these 4 things. Like, when you file these, you have to have this many copies. Like, that's what I want to do, is just share that stuff with people so that they can do it themselves. So you can book an appointment with me. Through Friday, it's $25. Otherwise, it's $79. But otherwise, you're going to pay an attorney. I charge $250 for to represent people in an eviction, or you can pay me $79 and I'll walk you through the steps. Which, with eviction, in some situations, you have to have a lawyer, but a lot of private landlords can totally do it themselves. So, anyways, it is 6:30, and I hope you guys, like, learned something. This was the first one, like I said, so next time I'll try to have, like, a better outline of what we could talk about, and you'll have more time, you'll have more knowledge. I think I'm going to pick a night of the week and just do this, like, once a week, and just be consistent about it so that we can all get together and just talk about law stuff. So if you have a question or you want to know something, I'm going to start, because I get a lot of like private messages and people that are like, hey, I just need to ask you a quick question. So I'm going to start like collecting those and putting them together so I can do this show instead of like, I spend a lot of time just like responding to people and I love it. I really love it, but it's kind of sucking time out of other stuff that I should do. So I thought like this, doing this show, The Other Side of the Bar, would kind of be like my way of giving that free information to people, but also kind of consolidating it on my end. So anyways, yeah, I will see you guys next week, okay? Bye. Thanks for watching.